Sometimes the toilet seems to flush on its own.
It has a mind of its own?
It sure does.
I wonder where it got that. So, all right, so you hear it run in the middle of the night?
We do, yeah.
Anytime I hear that,
Okay.
it suggests that the water that's in the tank is leaking down from the tank down to the bowl. There's a great little test that you can do if you want to prove that it's happening.
Okay.
You put a little food coloring in.
Oh, so that's just regular food coloring?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
put it in there. Put it into the tank.
Okay,
All right, let's let that sit for about 20 minutes.
great.
You got any coffee?
Yeah, let's go.
Good. All right, so we still have blue in the tank.
Okay.
And let's see. Okay.
Oh my goodness,
So
that
it
doesn't
did,
look good.
it did indeed leak from the tank down to the bowl. That means
Okay.
that flapper's not tight. And every time it does, the water drips, drips, drips.
Okay.
And now it makes the fill valve comes on and adds more water, and that wastewater.
Okay.
Now, I could rebuild this tank. It's pretty straightforward. New flush valve, new fill valve. But you mentioned this house was what, 1959,
Right.
All right, well, back in that area, they didn't think much about water conservation. They didn't really need to.
Okay.
So every time that you flush that toilet, you use 1 gallon.
Okay.
Wait a minute, no.
Oh.
2, 3.
More? Oh my goodness.
And that
okay.
toilet actually uses 3.5 gallons every time you flush.
Wow.
Now you
Okay.
add to that the leak that you have, so every hour you're adding another little bit like this.
Wow.
So I don't want to rebuild that tank. I
Okay.
want to actually replace it. Now, a
Okay.
modern toilet would use, on average, 1 gallon.
Oh my goodness.
That's a pretty interesting difference, isn't it?
That's incredible.
All right, so let's get
Yeah.
the old one out and the new
Okay.
one in.
That sounds great.
All right. All right, before we take the toilet out, we got to shut the water off and get all the water out of the tank and the bowl. All right, with all the water removed, now we can break the toilet away. It has bolts which hold the toilet to the flange and to the floor. Whatever nuts don't back off readily, I cut with a mini hacksaw. Then I break the water connection and we can remove the toilet.
Wow.
It's easier to assemble things where I have a little bit more space. I connect the tank onto the bowl using brass tank bolts and a tank to bowl gasket. I'll also install the toilet seat while I'm at it. Now, we need to make a watertight seal to the bottom of the bowl. We're going to connect to this. It's a cast iron flange right here. That cast iron flange is attached to the pipe that goes down through the floor. To do that, we use a pair of these closet bolts, also called Johnny bolts, and they key right into the side of the flange. One on each side. Once they're in place, I'll tighten up one set of nuts to hold them in perfect position. Now this wax ring will make a seal between the bottom of the bowl and this flange, and that prevents sewer gas from coming out or water. So now we're ready to drop it over the top of those bolts. So now that's down, and now to make our connection, we have a plastic base cap that needs to be right side up, right here, a brass washer, a brass nut that's chrome plated, do the same on the other side, and then we snug them up. All right, now we just need to make up this final water connection. All right, Tracy, water's back on, and I've caulked the base of this toilet, which is code here in California. Now let me show you what you've got.
Okay.
Here's your new toilet, and the tank lever on this side looks just like any one you've ever
Right.
seen, except it has 2 levers. Now the chrome, if you hit that, it's going to use 1.6 gallons per flush. That's about half of what you used before.
Great.
But the green one, if you're using liquids only, you flush that, it uses 1.1 gallons per flush. That's about, what, 70% reduction in water.
Incredible.
Pretty good,
Well,
huh?
Thank you.